welcome. You're watching the NewsHour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Even as today in Lucknow, the government of Yogi Adityanath was sworn in, another government in another state was delivered a stinging indictment by the High Court of that state. We are talking about the Birbhum verdict of the Calcutta High Court, where for the second time in as many years, a case which relates to political violence in West Bengal has been transferred to the CBI. In the Birbhum violence, where 8 people were burnt alive, the Calcutta High Court didn't just take suo motu cognizance, but they even made some stinging observations which seem to suggest that there is no real reason to believe that justice would be done if the case continues with the SIT of the state police. And that's the reason why the Calcutta High Court has decided to transfer the case to the CBI. All evidence, all the case diaries and all the people arrested so far are also going to be handed to the central agency. The funny thing is that despite all of this, despite some of the observations that the Calcutta High Court has made, the TMC continued to insist we were doing our best. We don't know why the Calcutta High Court has decided to take the case away from us.
स्पेसिफिक इनपुट आया है, कुछ नेताओं ने पुलिस को फोन करके बोला था कि आप मत जाइए, अभी पहले 2 घर जल जाने दीजिए, उसके बाद आप जाइए। तो ये स्पेसिफिक इनपुट हमारे पास है। वो ये काम जो जिन नेताओं ने किया वो सबसे बड़े जिम्मेदार है ये गणहत्या के लिए। तो उन लोगों को सीबीआई पकड़े और जस्टिस मिले लोगों को, ये हमारी मांग है।
सीट ठीक ठाक इंक्वायरी कर रही थी, 22 आदमी का अरेस्ट हुआ है और हमारे जो विक्टिम फैमिली है वो भी सेटिस्फाइड है जो हाँ अरेस्ट हो रही है। मुख्यमंत्री जैसे ही कल दौड़ के गई, उसमें कॉन्फिडेंस है उन लोगों का मुख्यमंत्री का बात के ऊपर। अब अदालत क्यों किया ये हम नहीं बोल सकते, हम अदालत को सम्मान करते हैं, उनके खिलाफ हम कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे। उन्हें पॉलिटिकल यूज करके सीबीआई का इज्जत को सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और बीजेपी सरकार खराब कर दे रहा।
And here is the reason why the TMC simply cannot plead innocence or ignorance anymore. Take a look at some of the observations that the court made while transferring the case. Birbhum incident has shaken conscience of society. It has even referred to the questions that have been raised about the antecedents of some of the members of the SIT constituted by the West Bengal government, asking why is it that tainted people still manage to find a place in one panel that was supposed to investigate a crime. Furthermore, the court observed that even though the SIT has been constituted on the 22nd of this month, precious little was done by them. The bigger question that all of this has now thrown up, that after the brutality, has the court also not now exposed the attempted cover-up? Can the Mamata government still plead innocence?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the NewsHour Agenda, we have Priyanka Tibrewal, spokesperson of the BJP, and in fact one of the people who pleaded in court in this case, Gargi Nandi, political analyst, Sandip Ghose, political commentator and author, also with us. And my first question is to Anirban Banerjee, lawyer and political analyst. Let me just quote to you some of the things that have been said by the Calcutta High Court. Anirban Banerjee: need to expeditiously hand over case to independent agency because there is an allegation that there is an attempt to wipe off evidence. Investigation, keeping in the mind the gravity of the offence, has not been done. Was there an effort to cover up?
Well, first of all, the state government has welcomed the decision and has said that they will do everything that the CBI in this case requires to conduct the investigation, albeit fairly and impartially. That is very important. Now, considering for just argument's sake that we are not going to see any Ranjan Gogoi rerun in this case, I would like to put a question to the public in general. Will the CBI actually succeed in doing anything in this particular investigation? If you keep in mind their dismal track record in events where political parties, political leaders,
before you remark on the CBI, can I quickly ask you, are you saying as a practicing lawyer that the Chief Justice or the judge of the Calcutta High Court who has passed this judgment is compromised? Are you saying that as a lawyer yourself?
I do not know. The future will answer. The future will answer whether anything. I am not pointing my finger at anyone.
Why did you speak of Ranjan Gogoi?
The future will answer whether anything or anyone was compromised.
You have stinging indictments of the state government and the state police, the intent, the method, or rather the lack of intent.
Yeah, that's fine. I simply don't
if
want
everybody
to see
is compromised, then surely there has to be something very wrong in our country where the polity is compromised, the opposition is compromised, the judiciary is compromised, the CBI is compromised, everybody is out to get the West Bengal government, and yet it is in West Bengal that people continue to get killed. Who are the people who are coming and killing people in West Bengal? Ranjan Gogoi?
First of all, if you are singling out West Bengal, then my condolences for your intellect, because killings or murders happen all over the country, rather it happens all over the world. Any government in its good sense would never want a single murder or a single incident of this kind of killings in their state. But things happen, bad things happen. Governments have to react. But West Bengal government in this case has reacted and has reacted promptly. But if the court thinks that it was not enough, it's within they're completely within their rights to transfer the case to the CBI. But the question will remain whether the efficacy of the CBI.
Many thanks for your magnanimity for allowing the court to transfer the case. That being said, I also very respectfully reject your condolences. Quick first response from Priyanka Tibrewal first. Yes.
Right. So Padmaja, this is the same person. Only yesterday he was telling you that the court has not given a CBI because the court didn't feel, and he was in favor of whatever was happening in the court. And today he questions the same bench. Now, my condolences to this person on the death of his conscience.
Do not put words in my mouth.
Now again he is speaking over me. Please ask him to keep quiet. I didn't.
You said exactly that. You said that, sir.
Yes.
I did not say anything.
You said it's a vindication of the government's position because the court did not order a CBI.
Do not quote me on things that I have not said.
You said that.
Put your own statements. You can put
Nobody is putting words in your mouth.
Do not try to quote me on something that I did not say.
My condolences to this person because their conscience is dead. Completely dead. So my condolences on that. Now today, we just see that in a place like West Bengal, it has not been a year that this government has come back to power. In less than a year, Padmaja, in two of my matters, and both
okay, silence, please, silence. Only Priyanka Tibrewal will speak for a bit, please.
In less than a year, I'm telling you, since this government came back to power, less than a year, two of my matters, both have been handed over to the CBI. Because if you remember that how brazenly the Chief Minister had denied the existence of forceful violence, the NHRC reports and facts present in the report appeared to be hideous to the Chief Minister. But we have seen what are the facts, and that's the reason a CBI and a SIT is here in West Bengal. And today also, if you read the orders carefully, the court has clearly said that in order to instill and continue so that the people's faith is there in the judiciary, it is very, very important that this matter should be handed over to an impartial, unbiased institution. That's the reason it has been handed over to the CBI. Because yesterday we have seen how the Chief
Anirban Banerjee, this is a crime. This is a crime that shook the conscience of humanity. This is what the court has remarked, and even if it didn't, 8 people, including a newly wedded couple, 2 children, women, were beaten, then locked up. This wasn't some TV fat gaya or short circuit that Anubrata Mandal seemed to suggest in the beginning. They were beaten and then they were burnt alive. Despite that, you have the court today saying that and the manner in which it is done, here's what the order says. It has been submitted that in spite of the fact that the police station is very near to the spot of incident, the police did not reach on time and persons trapped inside the houses were kept burning. The people who were inside were kept burning. How can the person to whom the police reports shirk all responsibility?
Fine. The person in this case, the police minister, the home minister of the state of West Bengal, she has not shunned her responsibility. That is why within hours of this gruesome incident coming to light, the IC of the concerned PS was closed and eventually suspended. The SDPO is still under suspension. The superintendent of police of the district has been suspended, and more than 12 police personnel of the lower ranks, they have been suspended as well. Therefore, this is not shunning responsibility. No one in the government or the higher administration has shied away from their duty or responsibility. But even after that, if the court has felt that there more needs to be done, they have given it over to the handed it over to the CBI. That's fine. But the question will still remain whether the efficacy of the CBI
why was the case taken away from the state police? It's a very simple logic. If you, sir, as a lawyer, are doing your job so well, okay, I'm a client, I come to you, you are a lawyer, I say, please fight my case. If you are fighting my case so beautifully, why was my case taken away from you and given to somebody else?
As I said, I hope there is not a rerun of the Ranjan Gogoi incident. I said it at the very beginning. But the question will still remain whether the CBI's efficacy is better than any state government police.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. The state police fails to do their duty.
Let us very categorically say that the aspersions being cast on the judges are the views of Mr. Banerjee alone, and only him. We do in no way endorse what he is trying to say and insinuate. Gargi Nandi, okay, everyone is a political vulture, everyone is compromised, everyone is corrupt, but the one point that does stand out, Gargi Nandi, is that this was abdication, if not corruption, at the level of a district. This happened in Birbhum, it happened in one village. Maybe the policemen were corrupt. Their palms were greased by Bhadu Sheikh. Can you really say the chief minister personally got people killed?
Okay, can I come, Padmaja? Let me tell you that Mamata Banerjee has created thousands of Anirban Hussains in West Bengal. So that's what you are seeing today. See, this violence, we have seen post-poll violence. So that time she used these kind of people against the opponents. There were rapes, murders, houses were burned then also. And then there were exodus of people. Am I audible? Am I audible? Yes. So there was exodus of people, brutal murders happened.
Yes.
Yeah. Brutal murders happened in front of a mother's eyes. The son was brutally killed and the police stood as a mute spectator. Avijit Sarkar, do we not remember that? So when you create this kind of Frankenstein in the state, so then they fight among themselves also. This was for the share of the booty. So then she has created Frankenstein. See, culture of violence has thrived in Bengal since the left rule, but under Mamata Banerjee, she has nurtured it so much, it has blossomed. So that's why I say Anubrata Mondal, why Anirban Hassan arresting is a space saving. Can Mamata Banerjee say from tomorrow in her party, there will be no one like Anirban Hassan or Bhadu Sheikh who were used in the election to not let the opponents vote, not let
the point is not about what Bhadu Sheikh did, which eventually set in motion this cycle of grisly violence. The point is who created Bhadu Sheikh, who created Anwarul Hassan. Anwarul Hassan, of course, for the uninitiated, is the man who has been arrested for this crime right now. He is one among the many arrests that have taken place. Who created these monsters? And that is why questions are being raised about the Mamata Banerjee government. Sandip Ghose.
Hi, Padmaja, first of all, I'm very pained at this, allusion to Ranjan Gogoi. First of all, I think even about Ranjan Gogoi, there is no reason to make those kind of aspersions. Now, to say that about the sitting bench, I think it's most unfortunate. And this is not the first time that Trinamool has done it. Even on an earlier occasion, it raised questions about a judge investigating and saying that he should recuse, and which the court came down very heavily. So I think that's very unfortunate. As you said, this matter has shaken humanity. It is something I consider to be above politics, above any political party. And when you are talking whether it's Abadu Sheikh or others, it's because these kind of elements have been allowed to grow in West Bengal over the years by several parties. Today we have these Frankensteins ruling the show. And it's therefore high time people stop equivocating and, come down squarely on this kind of crime and say there is zero tolerance on such issues. And to that extent, I think the Chief Minister has done her bit by rushing there, by making, the kind of action in terms of suspending these people. That's a good beginning. But I don't want other people to really muddy the waters by bringing in politics to say, there are these sort of things happen elsewhere. So our violence in our state is better than the violence in another state. By better, I mean that, it's less condemnable or anything of that kind, or our police is best in the country. That is all immaterial. West Bengal has its reputation to redeem, and more so Trinamool today, because Mamata Banerjee has national ambition. She is positioning herself as a challenger to the Prime Minister. So her reputation is at stake, and her party members like Anirban Banerjee, who are representing here, they should make sure that, she is not seen to be shirking her responsibility. And they should support her rather than put forward these kind of arguments.
It's a culture of violence, so people should not be equivocating or pretending to be holier than thou. A lot of murmurs are there about the Adhikari family also, of the culture of violence.
Culture of violence doesn't mean that we will not raise our voice. What has been the culture in the past will continue. Now that is the question where we are questioning that democracy is being murdered and killed in West Bengal. You see, this person, Anirban, who was arrested today, what was his statement? Shamelessly, he's saying that I have done Atma Samarpan just because Didi, Mamata Banerjee, has asked me to do. So this is my Atma Samarpan. Now, who instills this confidence in them? Because he knows that since the matter is heated at the moment, let me get arrested. This is the same Didi who will take me out after a few days. So they have that confidence on the system, on the government, on the police.
Priyanka ji,
now that is the reason where this investigation, we wanted a CBI, so that the real culprits could come out.
No,
Sandip Ghose.
Priyanka ji, my only reservation is, Priyanka ji, my only reservation is, about the CBI's own track record. And that we all know has not been stellar. And I personally, therefore, would have preferred a supervised, court-monitored investigation rather than, because the CBI, if you see, even in the past cases, they have not really progressed anywhere. This is a police criminal nexus, and which has to be not only called out, has to be broken.
Within 7 days. Once on the next day, the report is
essentially, the Prime Minister, the Home Minister offered support. The West Bengal government should accept that and go whole hog after these sort of, Anurul Islam was arrested within 3 hours of Mamata Banerjee issuing the diktat. Before that, what was the police doing? Even the DGP of police arrived there after Mamata Banerjee came there. So these things have to be called out, and the administration has to be made accountable rather than getting caught in this political tutu meme or slugfest as we are all doing.
Anirban Banerjee, talk about the impunity that today Anwarul Islam also says that I am submitting myself because Didi has. Why? The police doesn't have the courage to arrest somebody like him. What does that say about the law and order situation in the state? That is accused in the murder, the brutal murder of 8 people, is saying, I am submitting myself for arrest. Be thankful.
He was arrested by the police from Tarapet. Now what he says to the media is not my responsibility. That is what he feels. So I'm not going to take responsibility for a statement. What I'm looking at are facts.
He wasn't arrested
that person was arrested,
Mamata Banerjee
and before that more than
Birbhum
20 people were arrested.
and said that I want this man arrested. Didn't the SIT know before that this man was responsible? Every single victim was taking his name. Every single person was saying he's the one who did it. There was a person who said, I saw him. Why didn't the SIT? And the court today has said as much. It was constituted on the 22nd. What did they do? They did nothing. It almost seems that once a green light was given by the Chief Minister, then the police said, okay, let's move forward.
And Padmaja,
so you are at least admitting that the Chief Minister gave the green light.
She had to do the face saving.
She had to do no option. No option. When she went there, the
Gargi
people
Nandi.
surrounded her. They wanted an answer in order to show that how great she is. She said that.
The police in Bengal
Madam Tibrewal.
Now she is giving all those things, the lakhs of money. Why don't sell Anirban's palatial house? He's only a block president. How a block president has a palatial house? So all those illegal sand mining, coal smuggling, cow smuggling, and now it was a fine.
The very way Mr. Joysha is the president, is the secretary of the BCCI. The same way, madam. The same way Joysha is the secretary of BCCI. The same way. It is the same way. He has got a palatial bungalow just the same way Mr. Joysha is the secretary of the BCCI. No difference.
Hierarchy of Choribazi, because all of them need this money.
There is a difference. That very facetious comparison aside, very facetious comparison aside, the man you named is not even accused of murdering. Unlike Anwarul Hussain, with whom you're comparing, it's such a facetious, it's a completely facetious comparison. Why doesn't the Chief Minister set an example and put a bulldozer to the house of Bhadu Sheikh, the Anwarul Hassan, the what have you? She is today saying, Mr. Banerjee, today the Chief Minister is saying, after having been multiple terms in government, she is saying there is a bomb culture. How is these bombs being manufactured in West Bengal? And the police never knew all of this. Why? Now the Chief Minister is saying, oh, so many bombs are being manufactured, crack down on the bomb making factories. Why do they exist?
Even after that, Padmaja, in Birbhum,
that is exactly what she said.
Bombs have been recovered in many areas. Many places in Birbhum today itself.
Yes, you can see the pictures on the screen. Today in Birbhum they've been recovered.
They have been recovered. They have been recovered. That is the difference.
Anirban Banerjee.
That is the difference. They have been recovered. They have been.
There is a culture, and Chief Minister went now.
Well, many thanks. Many thanks. Finally, after eight deaths, bomb-making factories are being admitted to. Live bombs are being recovered. Accused are being arrested once the Chief Minister gives the green signal. If this in itself is not a statement on the status of the police, even if we ignore the comments that have been made by the Calcutta High Court, I don't know what is. And remember, we're saying this again. This is the second time that a case of this kind of violence has been taken away from the state police and has been given to a central agency. Either you can read the writing on the wall about a lack of confidence in the ability or the intent of the state police to probe, or you can keep questioning the intent of the court itself. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much, Sandip Ghose and Anirban Banerjee, and both ladies for having joined me.